Chapter 40. Act 1. Almira, it's down to you. Gosh, dang, darn it, and all the other fake curse words we used in our parents' kingdom. Why couldn't Marcus have just abstained or something? Then I could have turned the gatekeeper vote into a tie and forced our parents to pick. But no, now it came down to me. The future of the test, the future of our growth, the future of our very existence, it all depended on my vote. Lucian squeezed my hand and grinned at me with pure confidence. I was his best friend, his trusted confidant, his co-conspirator in dozens of pranks and minor misdeeds. Of course, I would vote for him. Wouldn't I? I'd wanted to. I'd been hoping I could vote for Lucian for the sake of our friendship, but that was before the entire plan was contingent on my vote. I no longer had the luxury of throwing away my vote to please other people. Now I had to vote for what I truly believed in. Lucian's smile faltered slightly as he studied my face. I flashed him a sad smile and gave his hand a final squeeze before rising to my feet. Unlike the rest of my siblings, who'd stayed in front of their chairs, I walked to the center of the circle and held my arms tightly across my chest. I hate this, I started promisingly. I hate that I have to choose between two of my favorite people in all the universes, and I really, really hate that I have to be the tiebreaker. Enish. I turned to my oldest brother with a nostalgic smile. You are the absolute best oldest sibling a person could hope for. From the moment I arrived in the palace, you made me feel loved and valued and included. You've always been there for me, whether you were teaching me how to ride a bike or tutoring me in quantum physics. I've never doubted your love for me, and I know you'll continue to love me regardless of my decision. Enish gave me a small smile and nodded. Lucian. I turned my back to Enish to face Lucian. You are my very best friend, and I love you so much. No one has ever understood me as deeply as you do, so please understand this. My vote isn't about you, and it isn't about Enish. My decision has nothing to do with my personal feelings about either of you. This isn't a popularity contest, and my vote doesn't reflect my loyalty. I tried not to notice how the eager light in Lucian's eyes dimmed with confusion before hardening into something darker. My vote is a vote for change. I turned to address my entire family. My vote is a vote for growth. My vote is a vote to become the experienced, independent, self-confident leader who I long to be, and the only way to become that person is to journey through mortality. I paused, staring straight over Dorothea's head to the door behind her. I found it too difficult to look at anyone's face. I know mortality won't be easy. I've read the histories. I've talked to Mom and Dad and dozens of other people who've passed through mortality before us. I know there will be grief and sorrow and pain and confusion and loneliness and all sorts of terrible things I can't even imagine. Do I want to experience those things? No, absolutely not. I shook my head. But I do want to experience physical joy and pleasure and wonderment and, well, romantic love. I've heard it's amazing. I added with an embarrassed glance to my left. I want to experience the excitement of discovery and the pride of achievement. I want to learn for myself that I am strong and capable and powerful. But Lucian, I turned to my best friend with a plea for understanding. I can't learn any of that in the plan you proposed. A plan without opposition is a plan without growth, and I want more than anything to grow. Lucian's face had morphed into stony indifference, but I knew him well enough to see the cracks of anger in the twitch of his lips and the flare of his nostrils. I dropped his gaze and turned back to my other siblings. I trust our parents. I know they love us, and I know they want us to be happy. I believe their plan will make us happy," I declared with growing confidence. "Maybe not all the time, maybe not most of the time, but I believe at the end of mortality, we will joyfully reunite in this room and reflect on how grateful we are that we chose the path of growth." I turned back to my best friend. "I love you, Lucian," I proclaimed with the full force of my soul. "And I'm so excited to continue learning and growing with you. But the only way to continue our progress is to vote for Enish to carry out our parents' plan exactly the way they presented it." Lucian refused to meet my pleading gaze. I turned from him and gathered my resolve before announcing, "That is why I vote for Enish as gatekeeper." Silence filled the room. Everyone sat completely still as the weight of my decision settled over us. "Thank you, Almira," came Mom's soft voice from behind me. I turned to see her standing by my side. She gently placed her hand on my shoulder. "I know this has been an emotional night full of difficult decisions," she continued, addressing all her children. "Each of you have expressed your thoughts in unique and authentic ways. Thank you for your bravery and openness. I love you all, and I'll check in with each of you tonight. We'll meet again tomorrow morning to begin preparing for your test. Until then, rest well." Lucian jumped to his feet. I rushed toward him. "Lucian, please!" He pushed past me. "Lucian!" Our father's voice was neither harsh nor loud, but the power within it stopped Lucian in his escape. "Walk with me, son," Dad invited. Lucian's shoulders slumped, but he waited by the door until Dad joined him. Then the two of them disappeared down the corridor toward the gardens. "You made the right choice," Mom assured me as we watched the pair leave. "Don't hold yourself responsible for Lucian's reaction." She gave me a loving squeeze before turning her attention to Dorothea. Overwhelmed, I sank into Lucian's recently vacated seat. Had I made the right choice, or was I being selfish? Everything I'd said was true. I did believe our parents' plan was the best, and I did believe Enish would be an excellent gatekeeper. But I had another reason to vote for Enish. I didn't want my best friend to be my savior. Marcus was right. If we followed our parents' plan, we'd be eternally indebted to our gatekeeper. I didn't want to be eternally indebted to Lucian. One of my favorite things about Lucian was our equality. We were both smart, we were both playful, we were both driven. And, most importantly, we were both imperfect. But could Lucian have overcome his imperfections if I'd voted to give him the chance? Did I truly think he'd make a bad gatekeeper, or was I selfishly holding him back so we could remain equals? A presence in front of me pulled me from my thoughts. I looked up to see Jadith standing above me. "If I get so much as a paper cut in mortality," she hissed, "I'm holding you personally accountable for the pain." She gave me a disgusted look before sweeping out the large oak doors. I closed my eyes and hung my head, feeling very small and alone. Someone lightly touched my hand to get my attention. I turned to see Marcus staring back at me with a somber expression in his deep brown eyes. "For what it's worth, Mira," he said softly, "I thought your argument was beautiful." Then he followed his sister out the door.